Okay, my next guest on Rugby Daily, my next English interview is John Dawe, the former Sevens national player for Germany. Hello, John.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Yeah, not too bad. Apologies, we have to do this in English, but it's a lot better than my German.
That's my first take. You've played for Germany and in Germany for such a long time. Can you maybe introduce yourself in German?
Oh, no, I think being away this year, I think I'll spare the fans and, and the viewers the torture.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine as well. So tell us, where are you living now? What are you doing now after you quit playing for Germany Sevens?
So now I'm actually living on a really small island just outside of the UK. Well, kind of actually more outside of France, called Guernsey. Yeah,
Oh,
it's a teeny island, probably about 65,000 capacity, capacity probably. Yeah, it's not much more than that, but a really beautiful place with beaches everywhere and 5 minute walk to any sort of beach and an actual any sort of place you want to go to, you're there in 10 minutes, which is great. But yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment. Since last year, stepping back from the sevens, yeah, I've gone into full time work here, and it's yeah, different sort of life, but yeah, one that I'm starting to adapt to and and get used to. But yeah, but yeah, now step back into to 15s as well. So playing for the island here, which is Guernsey Rugby Raiders. They play in National Two of the English League, so still quite a competitive standard. And yeah, it's I've had fun. Apart from yeah, some pretty annoying and big injuries last year, but yeah, we kind of recover from them and go again this year.
so what brings you to Guernsey? I know the island because there was a like motorsport car driver. He was driving in the DTM in the German touring car championship. I think he was champion, Andy Priot. Do you
Okay.
know him? Yeah,
No.
maybe. So I mean, his first he was English or British, and his first name was Andy, and his last name Priot was more like French. But what brings you to this little island between France and the UK?
Yeah. So previous to well, at the start of my sevens career, I was also playing still in the UK for a team called Worthing, and we had a scrum half there that is now moving over or has moved over here and been here for a couple of years now. And ever since he's moved here, he's always messaged me every year, and he kind of got me at the right opportunity. And yeah, the rest is kind of history.
Yeah, okay. So you already mentioned injuries last year. So when and why did you decide? Was it the injuries, or was it like too many young players coming up to quit your rugby adventure in Germany?
No. I think it was yeah, not really anything of that sense. I think it came to a natural sort of crossroads in a sense of my sort of I don't know kind of being able to stay in Germany. Obviously, I'm not a German passport holder, so there was a bit of complications in that sense. So yeah, at the time, it was more of a step away rather than an actual full quit. But I think as you've seen this year, the boys have been unbelievable, and all the young boys have taken it in their stride. So there's yeah, I think it was
They are indeed unbelievable, but there's one thing we're all missing: those turnovers by John Dawe. That was always amazing. Like, was that kind of yours, or is it? You're still playing your superpower, those turnovers.
I would say, yeah, I think that was probably the sort of main reason that I was able to play so long for the sevens. And I thrived on that sort of area, and probably my parents are probably not too happy that I've been putting my head in areas that is probably not the smartest place to put your head. But for me at the time, it was something that I relished and was able to contribute to the team, which I loved. Now, um, I think going back to 15s, the boys are a lot bigger, so it's a lot harder to get into them positions. But no, I still base my game on trying to be as destructive and as much of a nuisance as you can say around them areas, and trying to steal the ball or at least slow the ball down in 15s
Yeah.
because it's a bit harder.
What's your position in 15s? Is it flanker or?
So previously it's flanker, but for Guernsey I've been playing in inside centre, which I've really enjoyed, and yeah, it's gets my hands on the ball, which probably not many people would have expected me to say, considering majority of my time in the sevens I was rather on the wing than in the middle doing all the fancy stuff. I left that to Fabs and Basti and all the boys that had a bit more magic and a bit more spark to them. But yeah, it's been nice to get my hands on the ball a bit more.
So when we go back, how did it start, and how did it come that you played for Germany? Tell us about all
Yeah.
the start.
So it is actually quite a long-winded and strange story in the sense. So it all happened through the now Shogun rugby team, which previously of Samurai. I was luckily enough to be invited on one of their extravagant international tours to Kenya, which obviously Germany rugby have been a part of a couple of times now with the Safari Sevens. So I was able to go on that with them, and strangely enough, at the time it was God, probably like 5 coaches back now, maybe. Chad Shepherd, he was a Kiwi coach that we had over in the sevens. Like two, probably. I'm not sure when he started, but I think he stepped away in like 2016 for the German team. But he was coaching the Samurai team, and after the tournament we got on the beers and stuff, and we kind of got more talkative, and yeah, I told him about my mother being born and raised in Hanover, and kind of all started from there really. He went away, I went away, um, and nothing really came about me in England, so I fired him a message. I think, yeah, probably around March, April time in 2016, and yeah, from there it was come over and see if you like it, and yeah, to be honest, I come first time in Germany was actually to come over and train with the boys. We went away to, I think it was Roma Sevens, and this was back a long time ago, and I think Nicky Koch was there, and he was 18, and his
Wow.
brother was playing Daniel Koch, and
Yeah.
yeah, Carlos with long hair, and it's yeah, it was a mad time, but yeah, it was a great experience. I'm sure Carlos has a lot of stories about that tour, but I'm sure he'll tell you on a later date. Um, but yeah, no, so that was my first initial integration, yeah, into it, and it was yeah, kind of came really randomly, but at the same time, like I loved the fact that I was able to be adopted by another country rather than um, trying to trying to settle in England, and yeah.
Yeah. So you had never been to Germany before. How were your first impressions?
Yeah, it was good. It was really really hot at the time I came over. I think I came over after their first GPS tournament, which is now obviously the Europeans. So I think it was around end of May, start of June, and yeah, I was stuck in the OSP with no AC, but the initial thoughts of the obviously the country is it's great. It's really peaceful, definitely in Heidelberg, really flat, which is nice. And of the boys, it was actually mind blowing to go from not having any real knowledge of German rugby to being thrown into the national sevens team and seeing how developed and actually skillful them boys were at the time. And
Yeah.
now it's just on a completely next different level. If you look at the standard of players now in the team, so
Yeah, I recently spoke to Basti van der Bosch, who played his last tournament. I think when
yeah,
you started playing, he was still Basti Himmer before he got
yeah,
married. And he told me about this time with all those guys, Carlos and Fabs Heimpel and Anjo Buchmann. And he said, like, every time they were asked what it means to play for this team, it's like, this is my family.
mm.
Was that also like your beginning? You just came to an existing family that adopted you?
I think I think so. I think it maybe took me a few tours to finally settle in and get to know everyone, but I think majority of that is probably you get maybe not so much now, but back in the day we did get a few boys dipping their toes in and then thinking maybe it's not for them or they've gone elsewhere. So I think maybe it took me a couple more tournaments, but yeah, come say especially when we maybe our second, so my first Hong Kong, second Hong Kong, I think I've never been, I don't think, in a team as tight or as, yeah, as one as that. I think, um, yeah, going between, I think, then and winning the Euros and even going to Canada in, I think, 2009, was it 2019, 2020? Um, yeah, we were stuck in COVID in a hotel room where we weren't allowed to leave our floor, and I think if we didn't have them bonds and that sort of family friendship, camaraderie, I think yeah you would have been able to see that on the pitch with performances which obviously showed when we definitely came out fifth in Canada with that yeah win over Chris Ume try last play or in extra time against USA.
Oh yeah, Chris Ume. I also had him on interview like this week. Just a great guy. He's 24 years old now, and by the
Yeah,
way, he thinks he's one of the old guys now, and his body is
yeah.
almost broke. And but like,
We
yeah, tell me, like,
spoke to
what's your like favorite memories of all those Wolfpack times?
um yeah, I think there's a few, like quite a few. I think you can't really necessarily pick one. I think the amount of amazing tours that we've been on and especially back in the day, even actually up to now, sort of them tours where you work really hard or you play really hard and then you're able to actually enjoy the time around it. I think yeah, some of the South America tours were pretty special. Hong Kong is always a good one, maybe a blur to most. Definitely on the last night. But no, I think yeah, we've got a few. I think I enjoyed Canada, especially being able to run out as or a part of the World Series at the time. It was obviously not as not as like packed full of international stars as it is normally, but due to COVID. But yeah, that was I thought that was a pretty special tour. Yeah, and then I think also Spain when we actually did play on the World Series with the big teams. It was also pretty special.
Yeah, like everyone recently, Basti and all the others are talking about the South America tours, like that there was so much fun, but there are no details. So can you give us some detailed stories about South America parties, touring, whatever?
Um, not so many details. I think maybe some of the older boys might be able to tell you. Maybe the annuals that can remember a bit more. But yeah, I think the alcohol was nice in South America. So I think most of the boys have a bit of a blurred memory of what actually went on.
Yeah. So what
But
about your like? Are you in contact with a lot of the boys from back then, or maybe boys who are playing now, uh, right now?
yeah. So I still keep in contact with Tilly and Nicky Cock over a few uh, sort of Instagram videos or something over Instagram, and then yeah, I had a good conversation with Carlos the other day. Anyo, I fire a few messages to here and then, and Sebastian Fromm, I'm still really close with, who was my housemate while I was living in Germany. But yeah, no, still firing one or two messages across. Obviously, I let the boys kind of do their thing, but yeah, it's always nice to catch up with them.
Yeah, tell us some stories. Living together with Sebastian Fromm, he's also one of the guys on my list because a lot of people back then said Sebastian Fromm is one of the best German seven players of all times, but he was injured a lot. How was it living together with him?
Yeah, it was good. I'm not sure you know. He's a very intelligent man. So
He studied
he was just
medicine.
yeah. So he's just graduated from or his medicine degree. So he's a full fledged doctor now. But yeah, no, it was really good. He's a really top bloke. Probably one of my closest friends, and yeah, I think he has a bit of sort of I don't know, it's not necessarily regret, but like unclosed chapter due to all his injuries and having to step away. I don't think necessarily it was his decision, which I think makes it twice as hard for a player to kind of not let things go, but yeah, to hang the boots up in a sense. Because I think in the end he had, I think four shoulder surgeries, two on both sides, and
Yeah.
at the time his focus was to be a surgeon. So the the doctor saying he might not be able to lift his arms above 90 degrees for long periods of time, I think kind of gave him the the sort of sense to probably stop. But yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. I think it was actually probably my first or second training session with the German boys. We did some one-on-one tackling, and he absolutely ran over the top of me. And I thought, bloody hell, this guy can run, and he's a solid brick. And yeah, like I said, he's probably one of the top players that has put the jersey on. I think the amount of go forth that you can get from giving him the ball is probably second to none in what we have or had in the sevens. And yeah, just his ability to play rugby is exceptional, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay, now we've talked about the past enough. Let's talk about the present. You're one of the first followers of Rugby Daily, so you're follow from day one or day two, I don't know. Are you
Yeah,
like watching also all the games of the German sevens team nowadays?
yeah. So I've I've linked into to all their tournaments. I was yeah following them through South Africa, and then obviously when they went to LA, yeah, and cheering them on. It's crazy to think going from where we were in 2016 to where we are now. Um, it's phenomenal how professional the sevens programs got, but also how developed the boys are within the squad as well. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's only still the beginning, which is really exciting. I think the growth, as long as the sevens program can keep its backing, will just carry on growing, and as long as also the sport can kind of shake off this now stigma of
Yeah.
I don't know what their sort of future development is, but um, yeah, as long as that can go in a positive way, I think the sevens boys and the German boys will end up being in that
Yeah,
top bracket for sure.
I mean, what do you think about this development with Ireland completely canceling their sevens program and the UK like stopping the kind of professionals? I mean, it's still a professional setup, but they're paying their players only by tournaments. What do you think about this whole
Yeah,
development?
I think yeah, it's I think it's really detrimental to the game. I think one of my good friends who I was playing in Russia with, Sam Myers, is the assistant or was the assistant coach of the men's program. Who's yeah, as soon as I heard, I was on the phone to him, and yeah, he was pretty devastated with how Irish rugby have not seen the sort of development and the pathway that sevens can provide, and not just that, it's also the amount of opportunities that players that maybe aren't 15s focused or even developed to be able to play 15s. You look at, say, Salvin Davids of South Africa, who's probably one of the best players in the world at sevens.
Yeah,
You put them into the 15s, and you don't know necessarily where they play. And it's the same with, I guess, a few of the boys in our team, like absolutely outstanding on the sevens pitch. And I think cutting that reduces opportunities for people to be able to showcase how great one sevens is as a sport, but two, um, how great they are as athletic and their ability to be able to play rugby.
yeah. So when we continue talking about the German team, you said you watched and followed the last tournaments. A lot of young players coming up, 18 years old, 19 years old. Is there anyone, or maybe a couple of players that really impressed you a lot?
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. I apologize. I don't really know necessarily any of the real young boys' names. I think if you're going back on sort of when I stepped away last year to this year, I think McConan is going up and up and up with his ability. I think everyone knows he's a natural athlete, um, but the size he's put on this year and also the game sort of development that you can see in his game, I think that's been pretty good to see. Nicky Koch, I think, has had an outstanding season this year, and I think even though he's seen as one of the old ones, I think he's only still developing and getting better with the more leadership role he takes within the team. I think, yeah, and Jakob Dipper has been outstanding for a couple of seasons now, but again is able to keep that standard, which is a credit to him to show that he's able to go season upon season and develop or produce the same sort of outcomes and performances that he has done previously.
Yeah. I love those guys, McConan and Jakob, with their speed, and Nicky. I mean, international commentators call him a magician because he's playing so good. So, like,
Yeah.
there are some questions I really love to ask all my guests in the end. Um, what would you say? Who is the best player you ever played alongside with? The best player you were on a team with?
Uh, that's a tough one. I think. Oh, that's quite tough. I think if you're looking Germany wise, I think, yeah, I think Sebastian Fromm has to be up there. I think uh, you'd have to look probably even if in the team now. I think for consistency, I think Felix Hufnagel is a pretty outstanding player, and his ability to kick points when needed is amazing, and it's just work rate is great. I think if you go for teams that I played in outside of Germany, I think yeah, there's there's been a few. I think oh, what's his name? I'd say William Backer was pretty awesome to play alongside. Sam Myers, who's Australian, he was pretty awesome to play alongside and developed my game quite a lot, even though I was later on in my career. Um, and yeah, I'm just trying to
Yeah,
think
there's
of anyone
quite a lot of
in the
names.
samurai team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
Well, I have one
what
more,
would
but
you
I can't
say?
remember.
Yeah, who was the toughest player you played against? Your toughest opponent ever?
Oof, toughest opponent. Um, that's a tough one. I think if you're looking, whoa, toughest opponent. This is gonna take me a while. These are curveballs. I think who we played as.
And you mean
I guess if you
you would? Yeah, please.
probably Terry Kennedy. I think Terry Kennedy has if you're going back through the years of German rugby and important games, I think he kind of yeah taught us and taught us a few lessons one or two times. I think his ability to run across the field and pick a hole is quite impressive.
Yeah, nice. So a lot of really nice stories from your rugby career. John, thanks a lot for your time. I wish you all the best for your new life in Guernsey,
Yeah,
and hope you're gonna follow German rugby for a long time. And thanks a lot for the interview.
no worries. Thank you.